Hey everyone, it's Shar from Serene Scenes Art Studio. I'm doing a 16 by 20 wet on wet oil paint, and as you see right now, I am doing a seascape. Actually, you don't see that, but I'm doing a seascape, and this is the sun that I'm putting in. I'm using cad yellow with the 2-inch brush. And this is going to be a beautiful sunset. I'm calling this painting Coastal Heaven. So I continue to use cad yellow, and I'm mixing some white in there to make it brighter. And around that center sun, I'm putting yellow ochre, and we will blend this in real good. When you're blending it in, you don't know where one color stops and the other one ends. So that's a rule of thumb when you're blending. Okay, just about finished blending there. Reloading my brush. And I am adding magenta around the cad and then the yellow ochre and the magenta. You have to be careful that you don't put too much magenta in, otherwise it'll really make your painting pop, but it just might be too much. So you want to blend this in really good. Just keep blending. Okay, now I've added Prussian blue, and I'm going to blend this into the magenta, so it's going to give us a purplish hue. Make sure you get that darker color in the corners because it'll draw your eye to the center of the painting. Okay, that's more of the Prussian blue. Now see how that darker color draws your eye into the center? That's what you want. Okay, so now I'm taking a dry 2-inch brush and I'm blending it more. And I'm loading up a fan brush so we can make some beautiful clouds. Well, first of all, I'm going to brighten up that center sun. There we go. I've added more white to it. Just makes it pop. After I do this, we are going to add some beautiful clouds in there. And more white, just to make it pop. Now if you get a bristle in your painting, just take the corner edge of your brush and flick it out and it'll come out. Just keep blending that. I've added a little more Prussian blue just to dye down that magenta a little bit. There we go. Add a little more to the corners if you don't think they're dark enough, which is what I'm doing. Next, we're going to brighten up that center sun, and what I'm going to do is add a combination of cad yellow, white, and I put a little bit of clear coat in there. So I'm taking the fan brush, a very small fan brush, keep it in the center, and just twist it around, and that should make yourself a perfect circle. You may have to do it a couple times. Blend that in. I'm using a 2-inch brush again, and you just want to just barely touch it. Now I've added yellow ochre to a fan brush, and we're going to put some clouds in there. Now I'm going to do each cloud separately, and as I put the strokes on the canvas, you want to be sure and blend that color in before you put your highlight on. Putting clouds on like this will add depth into your painting. Okay, there I'm putting the highlight on. And here I'm blending out that yellow ochre just a little bit. You just want to do that very lightly. And that removes some of the excess paint from the canvas. And then just blend it out very carefully and softly. Coming from the other direction, I'm going to do the same thing with the yellow ochre. And you can see already that that's creating depth in the painting there. And blend that yellow ochre out just a little bit, very lightly. Then we're going to add titanium white. Well, I've added actually a little bit of cadmium yellow just to make it a little brighter. And it's just to the upper layers of the cloud. Blend it very softly. And if you have too much, like say some of that yellow ochre, and you wanted to dye some of that down, you can put some of that titanium white in it. I'm going to add a little more titanium white over top of that cad yellow. You see how I'm blending that? I'm just using the corner of that brush and then just blend upward and then side by side. Next, I'm going to come in with magenta. I'm sorry I'm in the way. I will move out of the way though so you can see it. We're putting those clouds in just the same as we did with the yellow ochre on each side. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm in the way. But you'll be able to see what I'm doing. There we go. Blending it out. And this is what we'll do with each and every cloud we put in there. And it's going to give an amazing effect. Okay, again with the titanium white, right over the top edges. Now some of these bigger clouds, you can take some of that titanium white right through the center of them if you want to make them a little thinner, which is what I'm doing here. And then blend each color. So right now it's the magenta. And then the titanium white. Just fluff it up. And then over, side by side. Blend again. Just very softly blend upward and side by side. Okay, next we're putting Prussian blue in. Now I'm bringing these in. These are going to be larger clouds. And I just do a circular motion with that fan brush, just the corner of it. Again with the titanium white. Now these are thicker clouds, so I want more of a highlight on these. So I'm doing a highlight on top and somewhat in the middle and on the bottom. It's just whatever looks best according to your taste. But you can already see the amount of depth that's happening with that sky. just continuing to put more of that Prussian blue in right in the center. And blend it. And the more you blend, it gives it such a soft look. Did you notice how full that made that look? Gave it much more depth. Okay, so we've finished that bottom Prussian blue cloud. And now I'm going to go up to the top and just very softly, in circular motion, put the top clouds in. Now I'm adding titanium white just sporadically, basically, in areas of the painting where I want to show depth in the clouds. And just blend those up. Just like we did the other clouds. With these highlights, they aren't on as thick as the other highlights on the clouds because I wanted to give it a softer look. Decided to add one more small magenta cloud just because I think it might give it just a little more depth, give it some nice color there. Now I had tape right there at the horizon, so I've removed it now. Now before I put the water line in, I also covered it with liquid white. We're using Prussian blue here. And I'll continue using that. Just blending it in real nice. Now I do want some lines in here just to give it more of a water effect. And I will be adding some magenta into this as well to pick up the magenta in the sky, so it's creating a reflection. I've added some Prussian blue to it, so it's going to give it a little more of a purple hue, but I wanted to dye down that magenta just a little bit, so it can be really strong. So I'm just blending in these two colors, adding just a touch more magenta there. I wanted that right in the center. Okay, here I'm using some yellow ochre and a little bit of titanium white, and this is the sand that I'm putting in there. So I'm just giving it all a base coat before I start with waves and sand dunes. Using my knife, I'm just putting some water lines at the horizon line. Now these lines don't have to be completely straight across. I kind of wanted to do it sporadically so it gives the impression of water. Some more water lines. Using a fan brush, titanium white. That way I can blend that in just a little bit. Sorry I'm in the way. You'll see what I'm doing though. I eventually move. Right now I'm drawing in our what's going to be our wave. Again, I'm sorry, but I will move out of the way and you'll get to see what I'm doing. So I've drawn in the outline of the wave, and I'm using the fan brush to blend just a little bit of that line back so it gives the impression of water. Now where I've drawn that white line coming down, that's going to be the eye of the wave. So again, using the fan brush and just pulling some of that, just flicking some of that titanium white back. I'm sorry, I'm in the way. I wasn't quite happy with that, so what you can do if you're not happy with it is just take your 2-inch brush and stroke over that from side to side, and it takes care of it. I wasn't going to put that in the video, and then I thought, no, that would really be good to show you. If you're not happy with it, mistakes can be corrected, so. Sorry about that, I'm in the way, but again, you'll see what I'm doing. There we go. And here I'm using the fan brush, the smallest fan brush, and you'll see where I've come over the top of that major wave there, and I'm just flicking over and say like half moon. Oh, not quite half moon, but quarter moon. I do eventually get out of the way, so sorry folks. There we go. Do you see how I've used that fan brush and flicked it over? And that's our major wave coming over. Okay, so now I'm putting the color into the eye of the wave, and since this has got a little bit of magenta in it, normally what you can do if it's just blue, just put some cad yellow on your detail brush and put it in there and blend it out real good. But what I've done is I've made sort of like a neon green, since we've got purple in there, and I think that made for a very nice color. So I want to blend out that eye there, and then I'm also going to use my brush to bring that a little further down the wave. Right now I'm doing more water lines for the waves. Okay, so I'm continuing to bring part of that wave over the top. And I'm going to add just a touch of yellow into that because it's going to be reflecting off the sun. Right now I'm using a brush a filbert brush, and I'm creating foam at the bottom edge of the wave. And you'll be able to see as soon as I move away. And now there's the shadow, and I used a little bit of purple to create the shadow from underneath the wave. I'm just putting caps of titanium white on top of that wave there. There we go. So I'm blending out that neon green that I had, and I'm taking that along the bottom part of that other wave there. Now that dark purplish blue that you see underneath the waves, you want to keep that dark because you don't want to cover up all your shadows. And blending that out still. I'll give it a nice glow. Using my knife, I've put a water line underneath the wave there, and I'm just using the knife to bring some of that paint up through that wave, and this is where your wave will really take shape. Using a detail brush, just very thin lines, so almost like they're veins of the wave. I used titanium white for that. And you want to take some lines right up through the eye of the wave there. So that's water coming down. Just using the detail brush to put some details in for those waves. And again, right underneath the tracing of that wave, you want to keep them dark. That's what's going to give you depth in your painting. Just putting a little bit more of a water line there. Just flicking some of that color up to give that wave some depth. And see how that's pretty much brought that wave to life. Here I'm putting just a little more of that neon green there to brighten that up. Putting some more dark underneath the wave, and I'm using Prussian blue there, just a detail brush. The shadows can be just as important as the highlights, so. Okay, now here I've just put some water lines in because those are going to be at the edge of the sand dunes, and I'm going to blend those out, so those aren't going to stay as they look right now. I'm using right now my knife with Van Dyke Brown and Yellow Ochre to create a marbled effect of the sand dunes. I used a touch more yellow ochre there, where I think the sun would be hitting it. And I'm leaving somewhat of an open path down towards the ocean or the coastline. And I'm using a marbled effect of the Van Dyke Brown, the Yellow Ochre, and I've added some titanium white to it. Now, how much you use of each is pretty much your preference. And I know this is a sunset, but it's not down that low yet, so I don't make it too dark. I'm adding white here to give the impression of sand. And when you're doing this, since it's wet on wet, so you don't create a mud wash, you just want to very, very lightly move your knife over top those other darker colors. So do you see how I've blended out those water lines there, and they've made a nice reflection? And I've just kept the outline. Still putting a little more white on. And it's going to give a great sandy effect to these dunes. I just love the white sand of Florida. Here I've taken a small round brush and I've used titanium white and liquid clear, and I've thinned it out just a little bit with paint thinner, and I'm just using my finger to create little splashes of white so it gives it more of a sandy look. And here I'm using just a detail brush and just flicking upward with two different colors. One of them's Van Dyke brown, and the other I've just combined a mixture of Van Dyke brown, the ochre yellow, and white to give both highlight and shadow to sea oats. Now you want to place these carefully, not just at the edge of the water there. You also want to bring them inland so it creates good depth for you. Using Van Dyke brown and the combination of yellow ochre, and I'm just putting just little dots on the very tops of the sea oats. I'm using black, and I'm just painting in the bottom of a little sailboat. And on each end I come up at an angle. And then I just draw or paint a black line there, just a simple black line, and which is going to hold the two sails. And I'm just using titanium white. And you don't want to make this too awfully big because it's way off in the distance. But I do have it come up over the horizon. I'm just using a detail brush for that. So now I'm using titanium white, and I'm just putting some seagulls in. You can either make them as like an N or a V. It just really adds to the painting. Just using the detail brush with this. Now something else you can do as well, which is what I added after the fact, but I also took my small fan brush just to give the water a little more motion and just tapped the very end of the brush in different areas of the water to so it gives it more of an impression of movement. I think with that we've got a finished painting. don't forget to put your fan brush marks in your water. I hope you enjoyed painting with me. Subscribe for more videos, and our website and Facebook are in the description below. Thanks a lot. Have a blessed day.